When I start a new anime, one of the first questions I ask myself after the first episode is a pretty simple one. Do I care? Do I care about any of the characters? Do I care about the story? Do I care about the world? This may seem like something that would be second nature to most of us. Well, if I didn't care, I wouldn't have continued watching. But I've noticed from the past few years that I would watch shows that I legitimately didn't care about simply because I didn't bother to ask myself that one question. And I feel like I'm not alone in this. So today, I want to talk about a show and a world that I do care about, and how they achieve that. But first, a quick thank you to this video's sponsor, Elsword 2. Elsword is a fun 2.5D MMORPG. You can play a ton of different characters, all with cute chibi art. Most of all, the combat in this game is extremely fun. It's one of those games that just makes you feel like you're an OP anime character. They also just released a major update to the game as well, such as the third job update, and redoing a lot of the artwork, so it's the perfect time to jump in. If you're a returning player or you're just interested in starting, make sure you guys check out the description for the download link. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime is not particularly a profound anime, but its simplicity and straightforward narrative is charming. But what's most impressive is the show's sense of scale. I briefly touched on this subject a few weeks back in my previous video on Slime, but didn't get much time to talk about it in depth. So I figured with the most recent few episodes furthering some of my points, that it would be a good time to make a video primarily focusing on this. So first and foremost, let's talk a little bit about scale. In most isekai anime, the scale of the show is worldwide or nationwide. A good example of this would be the Overlord series. The show follows a person from our world who gets transported to a new world in the body of his MMO character, who happens to be a lich. And thusly, in the newer seasons, he has set his sights on world domination. Slime is an anime that I now consider to be the opposite of Overlord. Whereas Lord Ain's immediate goal is world domination, Rimru's eventual goal is world peace. And where Overlord is about world politics and making alliances with other nations, Slime is about a single village of goblins. As a matter of fact, most of Slime is scaled down to a single village, and I think that is a major factor in the show's success. Although large-scale shows like Overlord definitely have their advantages, it's nice to see a show with a still incredibly overpowered character simply trying to create a self-sufficient village, which, as we slowly learn, is a much more difficult task than expected. Instead of instantly chasing some crazy dream of world peace, our main character decides to attempt to make a practical village that is peaceful as a statement. It's to prove that all these different races can live together, and not just by necessity, but actually working together. From dwarves to goblins to direwolves and even ogres now. The unified, peaceful village will surely eventually turn into a city and will no doubt become the capital of Rimru's new nation. And I believe that is our main character's eventual goal, to turn this experimental village into something more, hopefully a nation. But I think I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. My point is this. Since the show is based around only a small village, the stakes are never world-ending. Instead, the stakes are simply the destruction of the village, which, fun fact, has already happened once. But this is different from a lot of anime, or media in general. These stakes are personal. We've watched this village get built up, helped by the dwarves and direwolves, and we see it get burnt to the ground, and it means something to us. That scene hits pretty hard when we see all of that destruction. This is an extremely clever way of building stakes. I'm sure as the city grows, so will our attachment to it along with the stakes of the show. But the important part is that there is this feeling of growth. The village feels like a living, breathing character we are getting to see evolve over the show. This is further complemented by all of the characters. I really like the show's portrayal of most of the characters. They're all just built to be so lovable. From Ranga being an adorable dog to Rigoldo being the over-the-top bodybuilder grandpa, and even down to our adorable tsundere dragon. Each of the characters in the main cast are quirky and really bounce well off of each other. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime is at heart a show about peace and unity, and this is all despite the seemingly unending amount of power that our main character possesses. The world Slime is trying to build is a small one that will grow in size along with the narrative. This is something truly unique to isekai, as most shows just drop you into a new world and you have to learn everything from scratch. Instead, Slime is deciding to build its own world from scratch, along with the cast. Nevertheless, it's clear that Slime will continue to have us care about the characters, the story, and most importantly, our small little village. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. If you liked it, maybe consider subscribing, and if you're subscribed, maybe hit that notification bell because YouTube has not been promoting my videos as of recently. I don't exactly know what I did to anger the YouTube gods, so until then, please keep up notifications or follow me on Twitter. Once again, a huge shout out to Elsword2 for sponsoring this week's video. Links to download the game are in the description. Either way, I really wanted to do another video on Slime since my older video was kind of just a synopsis and please go watch it. This one kind of goes more in depth on why I really enjoy it. A huge thank you to my patrons, you guys are my heroes. Speaking of which, if you're interested in seeing how I edit, chatting with me, or simply supporting the channel, please feel free to join my Patreon. Make sure you guys share, like, comment, and subscribe. This is Manime Matt. Make sure you guys say, man, go watch that goddamn anime.